Before fire, before tool, before history, there was survival. For the first time, a sense of us and them.
In the heart of ancient Africa, millions of years before civilization, the sun greeted a different kind of dawn. Hunger guided every step. There were no plans, no tools, only instinct and survival.
They lived in small bands. Family was safety, and safety meant survival.
In a world without certainty, each meal was a discovery, Dirin, and sometimes a risk. But the wild was never merciful. They were both hunters and hunted.
Fear was their teacher, swift and merciless. Run or vanish.
High ground meant hope. Every instinct told them, up was life, down was death. Survival wasn't victory. It was simply another day alive. In curiosity, evolution whispered. Every tap a step toward thought. By chance, a tool was born, and with it, a future. And with it, a future. Knowledge moved not by words, but by imitation. The first classroom was the wild itself. Every lesson carved survival into their bones, one discovery at a time. When darkness fell, they gathered tallies. Warmth and closeness became their first comfort. The night belonged to predators and to fear, but they learned to endure it together.
In sound and motion, the roots of language began to grow.
Every sunrise was a second chance, Gustit, to eat, to learn, to live. Passengers. For the first time, he sees something he cannot name, the shimmering surface of water.
To find water was to find life, and they learned its rhythm.
Together, they became more than survival and fluent. They became community. Conflict was inevitable. From it, hierarchy was born.
Pain taught more than victory ever could.
Adaptation was not just instinct, it was intelligence, awakening slowly. For the first time, they saw thunder and rain, a mystery both beautiful and deadly. Curiosity pulled them forward, a poon, a fragile thread tying fear to discovery. Even in dreams, curiosity called Pleiad, and evolution listened. They didn't yet know what it meant, but fire had changed them forever. The world smelled different after the fire. Death and discovery mingled together. Without knowing, they tasted cooked food, and their world shifted again.
Warmth meant safety. Light meant life. And the memory stayed. When nature roared, unity became their only shelter. They learned renewal, the rhythm of survival.
Slowly, connection deepened, seeming, not through words, but through care.
The wild never rested, Brain.
In that moment, they learned strength in unity, succeedent, a spark of something human. For the first time, they fought together spots, not for food, but for each other.
Peace was rare and precious. It became the silent reward of survival.
Their lives were movement to fame. To stay still was to starve. They were not the fastest, but they learned to endure. In the struggle, survival took a sharper shape. Together they ate, and together they learned the taste of victory. Caution became wisdom. Protection became purpose. They didn't know it, but they were shaping the path to civilization.
Abortion. Knowledge passed from hand to hand, Pistin, not yet words, but wisdom.
Even in play, evolution practiced, preparing minds for more. For the first time, they faced loss and felt what they could not name.
In stillness they mourned, and in mourning, humanity began to breathe.
They walked forward, carrying more than hunger. They carried memory.
And so, they moved onward, fragile, curious, unstoppable. They do not yet control fire, but they feel its warmth, a power both frightening and comforting.
Curiosity hurts, but it teaches. Every touch a lesson in survival. Every dawn brings renewal. The will to live rekindled. For the first time, the sense of us and them. The first wars, not for land, not for glory, but for food. Death becomes part of their story, a quiet teacher.
They do not yet know words, but they feel something close to sorrow.
They walk forward timed, not out of choice, but out of instinct. From isolation to cooperation, the roots of tribe begin here. They sleep in shelter, a luxury their ancestors never knew.
From this tenderness, the concept of family begins. Young ones tumble and play with sticks and stones outside the cave. Nature tests them once more. Those who adapt will survive. They learn by watching, eyes becoming tools of knowledge. The first tool was crude, but revolutionary, the dawn of craftsmanship. With tools, survival transforms. The jungle begins to yield. Knowledge shared, the beginning of human culture. From the dust they rose, fragile yet fierce, the first spark of humanity ignited. For the first time, love has many hands. But in the darkness, a new light was waiting to be born. Episode 2, The Fire of Tomorrow, and coming soon. Like, share, and subscribe to continue the journey.